Hello and welcome to the Trust Factor Podcast, the only podcast that guarantees your success when you implement its divine age-old teachings. Hi everybody, thanks for joining. Glad you can make it. We're into chapter 3 of the book, The Garden of Emuna. We're talking about the fact that emuna can be acquired in different ways. And now we're switching gears. Here we're talking about the fact that emuna equals prayer. In other words, having a conversation with your creator. There's two forms of prayer, my friends. You may or may not know this. A lot of people come into religion thinking that I have to pick up a book, I have to pick up a prayer book, and I have to follow word for word, and I have to do everything that is in that prayer book in order to connect to my creator. It's only half true. There's another means of prayer that allows you to connect, probably even greater than following through a book. Let me explain. Number one, to pick up a book and to pray to your creator. Why was that book even created in the first place? Why do we have to have what we call a siddur? Picking up a book that has a protocol, processes and procedures and protocols and words to say and how to say them and how to move and when to move and all these different things. What's the connection with that and getting back to our creator? And one of the explanations that I heard a very long time ago is that if you wanted to get to the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you can't just walk into the building in downtown, wherever it is, and go up to the floor that CEO is on and waltz into his office. It doesn't work that way. You have multiple gatekeepers that stand in front of that individual because that individual is a very important individual, very powerful and capable of many things and very busy. And so they obviously don't take anybody who just walks in to have a conversation with them. There is a procedure to follow in order to be able to get access to them. Number one, you need to know the phone number, the right phone number. Number two, you need to deal with gatekeepers at all different levels, and you need to be able to deal with them to allow them to let you get to that individual. If you don't follow their procedures, not only will you not get to that individual, but you may be blocked for life. Now, that principle doesn't apply in Torah. You'll never be blocked for life from accessing your creator. But if you want to get in front of him, if you want to get his ear, then it helps to be able to follow this protocol. Our sages, in their wisdom, figured out what it takes, what we need to do in order to be able to get into his office, so to speak, and to have his ear exclusively. And the way to do that is to pick up the siddur that they composed and follow its procedures. And when you do, you break through those barriers. You're able to penetrate right through gatekeepers and get right in front of your creator. But you have to follow the process and procedures. If you don't, then you risk not being able to get there as effectively as you could. That's number one. That's a siddur. That's why it's important. By the way, if you're going to use a siddur and you don't know how to speak Hebrew, get one with English Hebrew. Get one with your language as well so that you can read in your language and understand the words that you're saying. Even though a lot is lost in translation, a lot of people don't realize that, and that has been a real problem for Judaism over the years, where people take one or two words and they misinterpret them. And because of that, we have entirely different religions trying to establish themselves through Judaism and through the text, which simply doesn't make sense. But they try. The point is, a lot gets lost in translation. So if you're going to pick up a book, it's one thing to have one that has your language as well as Hebrew, but make an effort to learn what the real Hebrew means. Learn the Hebrew language, especially when it comes to prayer, so that you understand what you're saying. So that's structured prayer through a siddur, through a book. What's the other form? The other form, in my opinion, is just as, if not more effective than the structured one. And that is having a conversation with your creator in your own words, in your own language, on your own time. Find a time every day, even if it's a minute or 10 or 15 minutes, but it could be as simple as 30 seconds to a minute to stop and look up or close your eyes and have a conversation with him in your words. God, I need your help today. I'm going into X meeting. I'm going into X situation. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I need you at my back. I can't do this alone. Please be with me. Enough. How long did that take? 10 seconds? It doesn't take long, but it is a very, very big difference. Why is it so different than reading from a structured book? And the answer is as follows. It's your wife's birthday, and you come home with a big bouquet of flowers for your wife on her birthday. and you give her a bouquet of flowers, and you give her a card, a greeting card that says, happy birthday, and it's got a nice little poem in it that was written by Hallmark, and you give her the card and you say, happy birthday. And there's nothing personal in that card. That's approach number one. Approach number two is you give her the same bouquet of flowers, but now it comes with a note, not even a card from Hallmark, just a scrap piece of paper with your handwriting on it and your thoughts and your ideas and your words coming across in appreciation and detailing all of the things that you think and that you feel about your wife. What's more valuable? Obviously, that is much more powerful than the one that is pre-composed, that is already ready to go and that could have been written by anybody and given to anybody. This one was given by you in your words to the one who you are closest to. So you tell me, which one would you prefer? As a father, as a spouse, receiving this from your spouse or from your child, which would you prefer? Something that was pre-programmed or something that came from their heart? Obviously, the latter is much more effective and much more important. Now, they're not mutually exclusive. Here's the beautiful part. You can take the second part, the latter part, using your own words, your own thoughts, your own ideas, and put it into the structured prayer. You're supposed to do that, especially when you get to your personal prayer. You're supposed to take time, and there are set spots within our structured prayer to insert your own personal desires. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you make it meaningful. Your two prayers should never be the same. No matter when you do them, they should never be the same. You should always alter your approach, because then you risk praying by rote and then you get into a structured pattern again. And that's what we're trying to avoid to a certain degree. So it's important to make your prayer your own personal prayer. Even if you've prayed in the morning and now you're going to pray in the afternoon, you're going to ask for something different, or you're going to thank him for something different. Make sure that there are nuanced differences in the way that you approach it. Number one, it comes across more genuine. And number two, it feels more real to you. It puts you in the moment. It makes you present. Because when you're just saying the same words over and over again, you forgot when you start and you forgot when you ended that prayer. It went right by you. You didn't even realize you prayed. Happens to all of us. The way to combat that is change it up a little bit. He's going to give us 5 principles right now that get in the way, 5 ideas that insert doubt into this concept of emuna, prayer, connecting to your creator. 5 different things that stop us from connecting to him. Number 1, obviously, doubt that the creator is constantly in our midst, watching over us and managing the minutest details of our lives. If we don't believe that there's a creator at all, or believe that he created the world but leaves everything to the course of nature, then we won't consider the option of turning to him for all our needs. Obviously, if I don't know that he runs this world, if I don't know that not only does he run this world, but he's in my life, every step that I take, every move that I make, every action, every thought, everything he is intimately involved with, if I don't know that, if I don't make that real in my life, then why would I turn to him? He's not here. He's not involved in this situation. So why would I turn to him? What's doubt number 2? Doubt that we have the power and the privilege to speak to the creator in our own language and in our own words whenever we wish, and to share with him our innermost thoughts, feelings, and preoccupations. You hear? Whenever we wish. That means if you woke up and you're not in a good mood, or you had a bad dream, or you're feeling stressed, use your words and connect to him at any time. He's there 24/7. So you can use your words to connect to him. You can have a conversation with him. I remember my grandmother, Alea Shalom, she should rest in peace, passed away a long time ago, but she would often just speak, and we would think that she was speaking to herself, but she wasn't. She was speaking to her creator. She had an ongoing dialogue with her creator. And many old school, old generation, Israeli, Moroccan, Middle Eastern descent type women had that habit of speaking constantly to their creator. And I didn't appreciate it when I was younger, but I appreciate it now. They were literally glued to their creator, talking to him all day, every day. Number 3, doubt that God listens to us and that he heeds our prayers and the prayer of every creation. If we don't believe that he's listening, then why are we going to spin our wheels? Why are we going to waste our time? We're not going to. We're going to think that it's all us, and we may even think we're foolish. But today it's a lot easier to be able to look silly speaking to yourself, because everybody's on Bluetooth today. Everybody's in the car talking on speakerphone, talking with earpieces. Nobody today thinks that you're talking to yourself. When I was a kid, if you were talking in the car and you were alone, people would look at you like you were weird. Today, nobody looks at you that way because everybody's doing it. So it's easy, especially in your car when you're alone. Talk to God. Scream out. Pour out your heart to him in your car. Nobody will think you're crazy. What you're really doing is talking to your Creator and getting from him all the wonderful things that he cannot wait to give to you. Have an amazing day. Thank you for spending time with us on the Trust Factor podcast. If you've heard something today that moved you, save this episode and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming conversations that challenge, empower, and uplift. And if you're on social media, connect with us. Leave your thoughts. Drop a quote that resonated with you. Hashtag the Trust Factor podcast. Until next time, keep growing in your trust and keep living with purpose. I'm Jesse Revivo, and this has been the Trust Factor podcast. Thanks for listening.